There's a live-action Lion King prequel focusing on Mufasa coming out, because originality in film is dead. You know, over the last couple of years, I've seen a lot of people debate, is cinema dying? Is cinema already dead? And I never really thought much about it at first, but like, looking at this movie made me realize, yeah, cinema might be dying, or it's already dead, I don't know. At this point, it's no longer Disney live-action remakes bad, modern Disney bad, it's not even that anymore. We've gone long past that. Now it's just about cinema in general. Nothing is original anymore. Everything has to be connected to an older existing film. This is a movie that literally nobody was asking for. I don't think there was a single human being out there that wanted to see a Lion King prequel that focused on Mufasa, let alone one that has this overtly realistic art style that's just completely boring and soulless. There's no color, there's no life, there's just nothing at all. It looks like a National Geographic documentary. I gotta be honest with y'all as well, this movie, like, I don't know what it is, but something about the CGI just looks really off. This and the 2019 Lion King remake, they're all completely CGI. There's like almost no live action in it at all. It's not just the lions and the animals and whatever that are CGI, like the jungles and the Africa lands and whatever, they're all like CGI as well. I don't know what it is, but just looking at the CGI in this trailer, like something about it just looks really off. Like it looks really fake. I get it, yeah, okay, it's fake because it's CGI, but like good CGI is meant to look real. That's the whole point of it. No duh. It's not real, but it should at least look real. Something about the CGI just looks really fake and off to me. I'm not sure what it is. I don't know if it's necessarily Uncanny Valley, but like, something just doesn't look right with the CGI. And considering the fact that this is a 2024 movie, that just makes it kind of pathetic, actually. Get ready, everyone. Disney is about to drop the biggest movie of 2005 in 2024. I can't wait. After 2019's Lion King remake made a bafflingly large amount of money at the box office because people think nostalgia is more important than quality, it was inevitable that it would get some sort of continuation or something like that. Another Lion King live action movie could be made. Whether it would be a completely original story or a live action version of the direct-to-video Lion King 2 sequel was unknown. But now, here we have it, the most creatively bankrupt idea for a movie I've ever seen in my life. A movie that quite literally nobody asked for. A Lion King prequel movie focusing on how Mufasa became the Lion King. An origin story for Mufasa. Who was asking for this, honestly? I don't really care about the live-action Disney remakes as much as I used to back then. I've just kind of moved on from them, but I have to make an exception for this movie, because again, as I said, this movie goes far beyond live-action Disney remakes bad and whatever. This is just about how cinema is nowadays, how movies are just, like, nothing is original anymore. Everything has to be connected to an already existing film. Everything has to be a sequel, a remake, a reboot, etc. Hollywood right now is just prioritizing people's nostalgia for their older movies over making actually quality original movies. Instead of focusing on making modern day classics, they're just regurgitating old stuff that they made in the hopes that people will like it based solely on their nostalgia for it. Did we really need a new Mean Girls movie this year? Like who was asking for this? Why would anyone want to sit down and watch this when the original 2004 movie is right there? There are probably millions of people that love the original Mean Girls, and I'm willing to bet only like 3 of those people were asking for a new version of it in 2024, and yet it exists despite that. Do you want to know why I'm unable to get into Star Wars? well, okay, there's a lot of reasons why I cannot get into Star Wars at all, but here's one reason. It doesn't feel special to me at all. Yeah, I get it. The original trilogy, they're objectively great movies, they're important to film history, blah blah blah, but like, they just don't feel special to me. And I think that's just because of the large quantity of Star Wars crap we've gotten in the last few years. I've touched almost nothing from Disney-era Star Wars, so don't think I'm gonna be one of those people that's like, oh, they ruined Star Wars by making it woke, how dare they? But one thing that I will say, even if I don't care about Disney-era Star Wars, is that Disney turned Star Wars from a movie franchise into a brand. Arguably, it already was a brand before Disney bought Star Wars, but that's very debatable. And now you just get all these movies, follow-ups to the original trilogy, you get these like Disney Plus shows, all this stuff, and it's like, do we really need this much Star Wars? And it just kind of takes away from what made the original trilogy so special in the first place. We always keep talking about superhero fatigue. I'm surprised Star Wars fatigue doesn't exist yet. How long will it be before people are just like, oh my god, I'm sick of getting Star Wars crap, when are they gonna end this franchise already, please, for the love of god? One could suggest that I just simply ignore everything Star Wars related besides the original trilogy, and maybe optionally the prequel trilogy as well. But even then, if I just sat down and watched the original trilogy, it's not gonna feel special or unique to me. I can sit down and watch Empire Strikes Back and acknowledge that it is an amazing film, one of the greatest films ever made, but it's not going to feel special to me in a way, because I know in my head what Star Wars will become years on in the future. Stuff like Star Wars and Ghostbusters, I can acknowledge they're like objectively great, but they don't feel special to me because we've just gotten way too many sequels and reboots and crap, spin-off stuff. Just leave them alone, please. We don't need more Star Wars or Ghostbusters content, it's not necessary. The worst thing is, I know for a fact that this movie will inevitably be successful at the box office. And that will inevitably cause Disney to start making even more of these movies. So now we're gonna get, you know, other installments of these live-action remakes. We're gonna probably start getting live-action prequels of these live-action remakes. Expect a Little Mermaid prequel focusing on King Triton, or an Aladdin prequel focusing on the genie. Originality is dead. Just regurgitate old stuff and hope that people will watch it based solely on their nostalgia. I know that people are gonna bring up indie movies, A24 and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, okay, those exist. I'm not against the future of cinema relying on indie films. But the thing is, sometimes you get a modern big budget blockbuster movie that shows Hollywood still has it in them to produce a future classic. Stuff like the Spider-Verse movies, Barbenheimer, the Dune movies, you know, like, it shows that they still have it in them. Regardless of how you feel about Barbie, it was a breath of fresh air in a lot of ways. I don't know why, but I have this weird gut feeling that if I sit down and rewatch Barbie, I'm not going to enjoy it as much as I did when I first saw it in theaters. I'll probably still enjoy it, don't get me wrong, but like, the initial hype that I felt for it is just not gonna be there, now that the whole Barbenheimer stuff has died down. Regardless, at least Barbie was something different. At least it was a breath of fresh air for modern day cinema. It's crazy to think that like back in, I don't know, 2002, 2003, these types of movies were everywhere. I could find a million movies just like Barbie in 2002. Nowadays, in 2023, there's like almost no movie like Barbie. Regardless of how you feel about it, there aren't really that many other movies that are like Barbie coming out nowadays. And again, regardless of how you feel about Barbie, there's no denying that like the Spider-Verse is a modern classic, Oppenheimer is a modern classic, Dune Part 2 is a modern classic. There can still be great movies coming out, but it's just, there's not really that many. And then you also have stuff like superhero fatigue, cinematic universes, everything has to be connected to each other, and It's boring. There's barely any movies coming out this year that I'm actually really looking forward to. I think it's become quite apparent that we are not going to get another Barbenheimer this year in 2024. Nor are we going to get another Spider-Verse. We're not going to see anything like that at all. And although there will undeniably be great movies coming out this year, and there have been great movies that have come out, there's also just a lot of crap as well. More so than in previous years. We're not even halfway into the year, and already there are 4 perfect candidates for the worst movie of 2024. I don't even care if this Mufasa movie isn't even out yet, I just know it's going to be trash, and you already know it as well. Most movies coming out nowadays are just kind of boring to me. Why would I waste my time and money going to the theaters to watch a new movie coming out this year when I could instead just stay home and watch an old movie from like 2007, and I'll probably get more enjoyment out of that 2007 movie. I just feel largely disinterested in seeing a lot of the movies that are coming out now this year, and probably like future years as well. I mean, yeah, okay, there are exceptions, you know. Beyond the Spider-Verse, Batman 2, you know, there are a couple movies that I'm looking forward to. And, like, the few movies I'm looking forward to, they're all sequels, which, like, that should say something right there. I just want more original movies, man. Is it too much to ask for that? And then when you really think about it, the few great movies that we've gotten over the last few years, they're original to an extent, but they're not 100% original. Across the Spider-Verse is a masterpiece, don't get me wrong, but like, it's kind of not really an original movie in a way, in the sense that like, it's based on a pre-existing character, Spider-Man. Yeah, the animation style is unique, there's no denying that. The storyline is probably original. I'm not sure if there is a comic that has the same storyline as Across the Spider-Verse, but if there's not, then hey, that's a plus. But it is based on a pre-existing character that we already know, so I'm not sure if it 100% counts as original. Likewise, Barbie has a completely original storyline, but it's based on an existing doll line. The Dune movies are based on a series of books. Oppenheimer is based on real life, which, okay, that might be stretching it a bit, but nah, I still think it fits in, I don't care. Even the few great movies that we've gotten over the last couple of years, they're technically not original in a way. They're all based on something. They're not sequels or remakes or anything like that, but they're still not 100% original. That doesn't mean that these movies are bad, far from it, but they're not 100% original films if you want to get technical. 2023 was a notoriously really bad year for Disney, made even worse by the fact that it was meant to be their 100-year anniversary. So you want to know what we got for Disney's 100-year anniversary? Let's see, we got one great movie, one decent movie, and a bunch of movies that range from mediocre to just really f***ing bad. Not to mention the fact that most of these movies, they ended up being box office flops. I mean, to be fair, an abnormally large amount of movies released last year ended up being box office flops for a multitude of reasons. But still, all those sequels that Disney's planning on making within the next couple of years, it's obvious they're making them because of how these movies have been performing for them. I know people like to say that like certain movies are cash grabs and whatever, but like Toy Story 5, I'm pretty sure is genuinely, unironically a f***ing cash grab. The only reason it's being made is because of the poor performance of Pixar's last few movies, almost all of which are original movies. And so, Toy Story 5 is gonna be, it's something that people are familiar with. People are familiar with Toy Story. Therefore, Toy Story 5 will generate a lot of money at the box office. Never mind the fact that the problem with most of these movies are not the fact that they're original. The problem is that they're not very good for the most part. Wish did not flop at the box office because it was an original movie. In fact, I'm not even sure if it could be classified as an original movie. movie. It's extremely generic and derivative of older Disney movies, so I hesitate to call it original. The problem with Wish is that it was, again, extremely generic and derivative of older Disney movies. It was just bland and boring. There is nothing memorable about it at all. That's why it flopped. But it doesn't matter now. We're getting Frozen 3 and Frozen 4, and like those will inevitably make a lot more money at the box office. We could try to make better original movies, modern day classics, but instead we're just gonna make sequels that will likely be of equal quality to our mediocre original films, only this time they will do successfully at the box office because of brand recognition. There is nothing to indicate that Moana 2 or Frozen 3 will be better than Wish. They'll be better quality than Wish, and yet they will inevitably make more money at the box office because of brand recognition, because people are familiar with Frozen and Moana. I know that most of this video isn't really me talking about Mufasa, the Lion King itself, but it's just like what it speaks for itself. It is a movie that nobody asked for. It is a literal cash grab. I cannot think of anyone that was asking for this movie at all. Even if it was like 2D animated or whatever, it didn't have this extremely realistic style. I would still like think, why did we need this? A Lion King prequel focusing on Mufasa probably would have worked as like a cheap bargain bin direct-to-video Disney movie from like the early 2000s. But as a big budget theatrical release, it's just embarrassing, really. This movie, I think, perfectly exemplifies why I just don't have any interest in most modern movies. Originality is dead. Why waste your time making something new and original when you could just rehash old shit from the past and hope that people will watch it based solely off of their nostalgia for the old movie? This isn't even funny anymore. Like, now it's just kind of escalated. It's no longer Disney bad. It's just modern cinema bad. And I keep assuming this movie will do good at the box office. Who even knows if that'll be the case? For all we know, this movie could very well be a box office flop. Only time will tell. But considering the large amount of people that are talking about how the movie doesn't look that good, the teaser trailer has more dislikes than likes, so who knows how the box office for this film will turn out. Then again though, the 2019 remake of The Lion King got very mixed and negative reviews, and yet that didn't stop it from being a box office success. So unfortunately, there's a very strong chance that history will repeat itself. Will I make a video on this movie when it comes out? I'm not sure. If I do watch this movie, I'm f***ing sailing the 7 seas for it, of course. Ain't no way am I giving my money to Disney for this. No way. I'd probably watch it either to make a full video on it or to just include it in the inevitable worst movies of 2024 video when we get to the end of the year. Or both, probably. I don't know. And then I realized that in order to do that, I would need to watch the 2019 Lion King remake, so like, that's even better. And then there's a very real possibility that I end up thinking the 2019 Lion King remake is hot garbage, and that'll cause me to make a video on it as well, so that's just, it's gonna be perfect, really. Man, I love this current era that we're living in, where nostalgia is the only thing that matters. Why waste time working on new thing when you could just bring back old thing again and hope that people will like old things return just because of nostalgia? This is just ridiculous at this point, really. Whether this movie will be a box office success or not is yet to be determined, but if it ends up being a box office success, then, well, God help us all, cinema is f***ing dead. I have now become convinced. Over the last few years, as this debate started to grow, I never paid much attention to it, but now, thanks to this one movie, I'm now convinced, yeah, you know what, the art of film might be f***ing dead after all. Now you've convinced me. Anyways, that's about it. If you enjoyed this video, then be sure to like, and if you're new to the channel, maybe consider subscribing, as it would be greatly appreciated. Thank you everyone for watching this video, and I will see you all next time. Adios.